evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Hello!
Good evening, everyone. It being 7:30 on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, we are going to begin our town council meeting, and it's nice to see so many people here this evening. First, we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those who serve in our military at home and abroad and for their families. Thank you. Clerk Semino, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Councillor Barrica?
Here.
Councillor Flaherty?
Here.
Councillor Hume?
Here.
Councillor Mackin is not attending this evening. Councillor Maglio?
Here.
Councillor O'Brien?
Present.
Councillor Reynolds?
Here.
Councillor Ringus?
Here.
Councillor Ryan?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have one counselor participating remotely this evening, so all of our votes will be by roll call tonight. I'd like to start off the council meeting this evening by welcoming many students here tonight, and I'd like to say one of the best parts of this job is being able to recognize the accomplishments of our residents. And I'd like to thank Councillor Ringus for bringing the achievements of two of Braintree's hockey teams to the council tonight, Braintree Blue and Braintree White, and I would have a privilege of turning it over to you, Councillor Ringus, to give us a little background. Thank you.
Thank you, President Barrica. So welcome to everyone tonight. We are lucky, like President Barrica said, to have two different teams who have both won their respective championships. And again, as she said, this is, I think, not one of the best. I think this is the best thing we do when we get to bring you guys in and sort of recognize you for an accomplishment like this. Braintree, we athletically achieve, we achieve in the arts, and we achieve academically. So it's great when we get to have you guys here to sort of recognize you and show all the other towns what we have and they don't. So with that said, I want to start by recognizing the Braintree Blue 2023 Massachusetts 12U Tier 4 hockey champions, and they were coached by Mark Warkup, Matt Gibbons, Joe Clancy, Chris Mazzini, and Todd Payson. So I would call the coaches up to the podium. And as they get up, I'm just going to give a couple of little tidbits of what this team accomplished. So in November of 2022, they won a tournament in Lake Placid, New York. December of 2022, they moved up to the A division of the South Shore Conference League. In February of 2023, they won the 12U Tier 4 Large District 3 Championships over Weymouth. Always good when you beat Weymouth. March 2023, they won the 12U Tier 4 Large State Championship with a collective score of 41 goals for and 3 against over 5 games with 3 shutouts. In March of 2023, they competed in the 12U Regional Championships against teams from Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, and Connecticut. They had a 2-1 record before losing in the overtime and semifinals to a New Hampshire team. From March to April of 2023, they competed in the South Shore Conference playoffs, eventually losing in the quarterfinals. And most importantly, as their coach noted, they had an incredibly fun season and they grew together as a team. So with that said, I would bring Coach Wark up to talk a little bit about the guys.
First, I want to thank Councillor Ringus for inviting us today and all of the members of Town Council for recognizing the accomplishments of all the boys and girls here today, especially our PWB Blue team. This past season was extremely gratifying, fun with this special group of kids and parents. Youth sports in general are a huge commitment, and it couldn't be more true with ice hockey. We start our season the first week of September and go through potentially the middle of April if we go all the way to the end of the playoffs. So needless to say, we spend a lot of time together, all of us, families and kids. We average 2 practices a week, a game a week, sometimes more. This past March, I think we played upwards of 15 games with just this team alone. And that's not to mention all the other games that these kids played with their club teams and elsewhere. So, we're extremely proud of the accomplishments of this team, as Councillor Ringus highlighted. But most of all, as I said in my email to you, is we're proud of how 16 individual kids, 11, 12-year-old kids, grew together as a team this year and had fun on and off the ice. Individually, they all improved, they matured as people and really grasped the team concept. All of these kids, in every sport, they're committed to their sport and their team, and it was incredible to watch and ride along with them through this journey. I encourage everyone, remember the names of these kids that you hear today. You're going to hear them over and over again as they grow and as they go through the Braintree schools, and you're going to hear a lot about their accomplishments for years to come. These kids are incredible. Whether it's in sports, classroom, community, what have you, you're going to hear them a lot, I assure you. I think I can speak on behalf of all the parents here when we say we care about every one of these kids like they're our own. Hockey community is a family. See everyone that's here today, and I think it's unique in that way over a lot of other sports. Hockey community is really a family. I was sad to see the season end, and some of the boys probably can attest that the end of that game in regionals was pretty emotional. I wanted to see these kids succeed. They did. They had fun. It was a blast. But you get really invested in it emotionally. It's quite a commitment. So, I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank all of the families. It's a huge commitment, time, financially, physically, emotionally. It's really a big commitment. So, we have to get these kids to practices, games, out-of-state games, games across the state, wherever, and all these parents do it without hesitation. Nobody complains, nobody asks, we just do it. And I know a lot of the motivation may be for the parents to have parties for these long weekends, but I'm with them too. It's quite fun. So I can't say enough about the special group of parents that we have. They really are special. They've treated us coaches tremendous with their generosity. They've been grateful to us, and it means a lot to all of us. So thank you. And to the players, to everyone here, keep working hard to achieve your goals, whether it's in sports, in the classrooms, and I'll stop there. In the classrooms, sports don't happen if you don't give max effort in the classrooms. So make sure you're staying on top of that. And in your community, I encourage you all to get out there, be role models, be leaders, and always have fun, because that's what sports is all about, having fun, working hard to achieve our goals. We as coaches had a blast this year. As parents, we had fun watching you. So good job, congratulations, and thank you. Counselors, thank you again for your time.
President Barrett, if it's all right with you, I'd like to get the other team recognized, and then maybe the councilors can do our comments all
I
as
think
one.
that's a great idea. Thank you, Councilor Ringus.
So with that said, we are also going to recognize tonight the Braintree B. White 2023 Massachusetts 12U Tier 5 hockey champions. And so I would call to the podium head coach John Paliotis, as well as Graham Dudley and Brendan Byrne. And real quick, this team also had a huge amount of success this season. They had only 5 regular season losses. They went undefeated in the Cape Cod tournament, missed out on advancing only due to goal differential. They started the state tournament against a very good Reading team and came out on top with a hard-fought 5-2 win, thanks to some late-game goals. They shut out the next 2 opponents to get into the semifinals. They shut out Lexington Bedford with some suffocating team defense and goals to get into the state finals. And in the final, they played the host team, Waltham, in their own rink in what was a very sort of hostile, home-friendly crowd. And they were clearly the underdogs, but Braintree played a textbook team game, and they won their toughest game of the year, 5-2, to become state champs. Of note, in the state tournament, they outscored their opponents with 23 goals for, and only 4 goals scored against them. So again, an awesome accomplishment for these guys. So with that said, I would call Coach Paliotis up to talk a little about his squad.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you to the town council and thank you to Councilman Ringus. The craziest thing happened. You won't believe this. Coach Warkup said absolutely everything I had to say, literally word for word. I don't know how that happened. So my speech will be a lot shorter because Coach Warkup did cover everything. But honestly, though, like Coach said, right, we want to provide the children with a safe environment where they can have fun, be allowed to make mistakes, learn, and grow. One thing I tell parents early in the season is, we're really teaching these kids a lot of life lessons through sports. You have your highs, you have your lows. You learn how to get up when you fall down. And we hope these are life lessons they carry throughout the rest of their lives. And one lesson both of these teams learned is you don't get to great places without working as a team. And that's something that you'll have to do for the rest of your lives, right? You will accomplish great things with others, with the help of others, and together you get to celebrate as a team. So that's hopefully something that they can take with them and appreciate these moments. This will be something you will be talking about for years to come. When you have your class reunion in 2060, you will be talking about this day. So congratulations to all the kids. The parents, thank you so much for your time, effort, driving your kids to practice and games. We really appreciate your support. None of this is done without the help of our assistant coaches, so thank you very much. We're all volunteers. Everyone gives in a lot of time, like Coach said, from September through March or April. So thank you, coaches and assistant coaches, for all your hard work. And to all the players, congratulations once again. Thank you.
And we will be presenting both teams with a certificate. I won't read that yet until I think some of the President Barrick and the other councilors get to comment if they want.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Ringus, and congratulations, everyone. We also have with us this evening Sheriff McDermott, who, Sheriff, if you'd like to join us at the podium, I think also has some commendations for the students. And then what we'll do is you'll hear from the councilors. We'll take photographs. Councilor Ringus has commendations for all of the students from the council as well. So thank you for bearing with us. We love celebrating our students. So Sheriff McDermott, welcome. Yes.
But I really want to congratulate the two teams for your accomplishment, and as your coaches pointed out, it's about teamwork. It's about making sure you show up at your practices on time. You do all the work that's necessary to learn the skills that you need to perfect your game. And you've certainly proven that. And when you get that title, that championship, it's just a testimony of your commitment to what you do on a day-to-day basis. And you're real. You've made Braintree proud. So congratulations.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd like to open up to my colleagues on the council for any comments. Councilor Flaherty?
Thank you. One of the things that was quickly clear to me when I became a parent is that children do not suffer in silence. The flip side of that is that it's always just as clear when they love something. When they love something, you see hard work, you see focus, and more than anything, you just can see the joy writ large across their face. And when you have all of that combined with good teachers, good mentors, and good coaching, there is really no limit to what can be achieved. And so I congratulate all of you for the hard work and the success that you've had this season, and thank you for coming to the council so that we can tell you that.
Thank you, Councilor Flaherty. Councilor Hume?
Thank you, Madam President. Councilor Ringus was right. This is one of the best things we get to do. We do a lot of town business up here, but when we can recognize our students' athletes for their hard work and determination, it is always a great thing. So to all the young ladies and gentlemen on the team, congratulations. You are a true testament that hard work does pay off in sports, and you wouldn't be playing sports if you weren't doing well in school. So you've worked hard in school and working hard in sports, and so I commend you all for that. And also thank you to all your parents and your caregivers, because without them you wouldn't get to the practice, you wouldn't get to the games. And to the coaches, as was stated by one of the coaches, it is a volunteer, it's hard work, it's a huge commitment, so I commend all the coaches. It is no easy task. Hockey is a huge undertaking, so thank you all for being here tonight, and congratulations to all of you. This is so exciting, and Braintree continues to be a sports town. In just about every sport now, we have like champions here, so it's very exciting, and we love to see all of you.
Councilor Ryan?
Thank you. I just want to congratulate the players for their accomplishments. It's great to see what you can do when you work together as a team, and congratulations for your success. I want to thank the coaches for all their hard work and their volunteering for working with the players. I can remember I played ice hockey when I was young, and it was the best sport I ever played in my life. I loved it so much playing ice hockey. I played at Badgeco. I didn't grow up in Braintree. I grew up in Reedville, and I used to play at Badgeco, and I can think of all the coaches that I had when I can remember all of them and how much I looked up to them at the time when I was playing hockey and all they did for me. So thank you so much to the coaches for all the time that they dedicate to the players. It's wonderful. And all the families that support and drive, like Councilor Hume said, that you have to get to the practices, you have to get to the games, and it's everybody's schedule revolves around hockey, whether you're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning to go to practice, whatever time you can get the ice. And Braintree is a hockey town, and it always has been, and it's always going to be a hockey town, and it's really good to see that we have these next wave of players coming up that are going to represent Braintree and make us proud. And hopefully someday we're going to get the skating rink built, and we'll have our own rink. And I say that, I sincerely hope that happens, and it'd be something that would make us even prouder. So thank you for everything.
Thank you, Councilor Ryan. Councilor Reynolds.
Madam President, first of all, congratulations to the players, the coaches, the parents. What you accomplished, you'll never, ever forget. You'll always carry that with you. I had the privilege of playing Braintree youth hockey myself and at the high school, and this sport brings our community together. And you will never forget the lessons you learned from your coaches and those most difficult games that you were in when the chips were down. It's going to build resiliency in all of you. You're going to have a toughness to you to get over the challenges in life because of what your coaches taught you and what you found inside yourselves to accomplish these great achievements tonight that you're being recognized for. So coaches, I think your emphasis cannot be emphasized enough. The focus on school, on teamwork, on individual effort. Individual effort builds teams, and someone needs to coordinate that and let them understand that how much you can accomplish when you work as a team and you have a single goal, and you do your part, you do it honest, you leave it all out on the ice. Congratulations to all of you.
Councilor Maglio?
Thank you. Very quickly, I think that the teamwork element that all of you guys have been able to demonstrate and achieve so much through is amazing. But the other thing is that hockey is a kind of a scary sport. You have to be brave. You have to develop some real bravery and take some risks. And I think that's the most amazing preparation for your future that you can have. Teamwork and taking and being brave. And I congratulate all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, counselors. I'm going to turn it back to Counselor Ringus to present the commendations, and I think we'll take photographs by the stage.
Sounds great. I will just say I'm not going to keep this going because I know today was the last day of school, and there's still plenty of daylight out there to get outside. So we'll get this done quick. But real quick, thank you to the parents and the families. Obviously, there's a huge commitment on your part to get there and support the coaches. So thank you for being here tonight to support the kids. To the coaches, thank you for all the work you did, as we've noted a couple times now. This is volunteer work. And obviously, you show the emotion and the connection that you have to these kids. There is nothing more fulfilling, I think, than coaching. And so obviously, you're bringing the passion that you have for this sport and sort of passing it on to the next generation. So thank you. To you guys, congratulations. Hopefully, this time next year, we'll have you back here celebrating 2 more championships. So keep up the hard work. With that said, you guys are all going to receive certificates. Depending on what team you're on, it is going to say that you are recognized by the Braintree Town Council as a member of the Braintree Be White 2023 12U Tier 5 Hockey Champions, or the Braintree Be Blue 2023 Massachusetts 12U Tier 4 Hockey Champions. Congratulations on your hard work and dedication. What we'll do is the council will line up. We'll call you guys up by name. You can just kind of proceed through. We'll give you a certificate. We'll shake your hand if you want to meet up over by the stage, and then we'll take some pictures after. Parents, you'll be able to take some pictures as well if you like. So should we move to the front?
Thank you, Counselor. Yeah. I think we should line up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to be beautiful. Thank you. So first up, we will have Christopher Devine. John Donovan. Aaron Dudley. Luca Atachi. Aaron. Jake O'Brien. Ryan Polito. Curtis Chan. Samuel Senafani. Gavin Fitzpatrick. Charles Peliotis. Gavin Brew. Amelia Avini. Joseph Kenny. Congratulations. Rowan Byrne. Sienna Cadigan. Coach John Peliotis. Assistant Coach Graham Dudley. Assistant Coach Brendan Byrne. So we're going to grab a quick picture with these guys, then we'll do the next team. So we have one more team, so we can quiet down for those guys. Starting off with the Braintree Blue 2023 12U Tier 4 champions, Coleman Clancy. Joseph Clancy. Joseph Dimadungo. Joseph Francis. Ryan Gibbons. Donovan Jassy. Gavin Jassy. Nicely done, nicely done. Oni Jassy. Hunter Kennedy. Oh, I'm sorry. JC. Did I say Hunter Kennedy? Hunter? There you go. Michael Mathewson. Nicholas Mazzini. Connor McDonough. Owen O'Connell. Austin O'Connor. Cole Pezant. Grayson Warkup. Coach Mark Warkup. If I'm a betting man, Connor McDonough just walked in.
Shake their hands.
There you go, pal. Coach Matt Gibbons. Coach Joseph Clancy. And Coach Christopher Mazzini. Oh. And Coach Todd Pazon. And we'll head over for a picture if the moms and dads want some pictures.
One more photo. Braintree White, one more photo. Councilor Reynolds. Stand right here. No, don't touch, don't touch. Just hold it up. I can't see my... Do we need to like call for a 5-minute recess? Do we need a motion for a 5-minute recess or should we just? Yeah. I'll give them a minute. That was nice. The recognitions are great, yeah. Thank you.
That is fun.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Thank you. All right, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Okay, we're going to carry on with our agenda. If people can just move their conversations to the lobby, that would be awesome. Thank you. I have a couple more announcements this evening. So Councilor Ringus mentioned happy last day of school. And I also want to, on behalf of the council, thank our incredible administrators, teachers, staff, our bus drivers, everyone who works every day to make the Braintree school system so terrific. So congratulations on finishing off the year, and have a fantastic summer, everyone. Also want to bring to residents' attention, for those who are watching or here with us this evening, if you don't know, you are no longer allowed to throw up mattresses or box springs. It is a new state law in Massachusetts. And beginning July 1st, if you want to throw out a mattress and a box spring, or a mattress rather, you need to have a proper bag. Those can be acquired by calling Capital Waste. It's 617-569-1718. I'm sorry, that's for the pickup for your mattress and box spring. To get a bag to put the mattress in, please contact the town hall, the water and sewer department, or Richmond Hardware in South Braintree Square. And those bags do cost $5. This is a way to help reduce the landfill use in the state of Massachusetts. So again, if you are throwing out a mattress, you need to first get a bag available at Braintree Town Hall, the Water and Sewer Office on 85 Quincy Ave, or at Richmond Hardware Store in South Braintree Square. The bags cost $5. And then please call Capital Waste for a pickup for the mattress and box spring at 617-569-1718 so they can properly dispose of your mattress. Last announcement I have for this evening is Braintree Day is on Saturday, July 1st. Please save the date. One of the, if not the best days in Braintree, with our parade, fireworks, events at the high school. Hope everyone will be there. Are there any other announcements from councilors this evening? Please, Councilor Ringus.
We are a hockey town, as Councilor Ryan said, but we're also a soccer town. And so this past weekend, the Braintree Travel Program sent a bunch of teams to Bridgewater, which is the South Shore League Championship Series, because our Braintree teams play in the South Shore League, and we had a lot of success down there. The G6.3 girls, which is coached by Marcelo Romero, they won the South Shore League champions, so they are the South Shore League champions coming out of Braintree. That division does not qualify for the next step, so that sort of ends their seasons. But we also have 3 teams that, based on their results, are going out to the state championships this weekend in Lancaster. So hopefully some of those teams will bring back a state championship and get to come before the council. So just wanted to shout out the boys 10.1 team, which is basically sophomores in high school, coached by Mark Smith and John Gibbons. The girls 8.2 team, which is coached by Andy Dowdy, Tracy Sherris, and Jane Keefe. They won the South Shore League as well. They're going out to MTalk. And then the team that I coach with Bill Clawher and Josh Hoopy, the G8.1 girls, who are all going to be going up to their freshman year next year, they also qualified to go out to the state tournament. So we have 3 teams representing Braintree in the state championships this weekend. So congratulations to all those teams.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Councilor Ringus. Any other announcements? All right, seeing none, unless there's any objections, I would offer that we take the agenda out of order and do communications from Sheriff McDermott before we approve the minutes. Okay, seeing none. Sheriff McDermott, thank you so much for being with us this evening. I know we've been trying for quite some time to have you here with us to tell us what's happening with your office and your community partnerships, and thank you again for joining us tonight.
Well, certainly, thank you for having me, Madam President and members of the council. And it's my pleasure to come every year or two to kind of give a report as to what we're doing in the sheriff's office, and certainly it's a little even more endearing to me to come here in the town of Braintree because of our direct partnership that we have with our facility down the street. But I just want to say briefly a quick thank you for allowing me to join in you in congratulating the 2 hockey teams tonight. That's always impressive. It's a nice thing. And ironically enough, and thank you to Councilor Mackin, I guess, for allowing me to sit in his chair tonight. I gave a little treat. I haven't been sitting in a council well for 20 years, but it brought me back to my Quincy council days. So it was a true honor to be here tonight. So I just want to briefly share with you an update on some of the work that we're doing in the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office, and particularly in Braintree, but throughout Norfolk County. Our working relationship with the communities we serve is a central part of our mission to promote public safety for all of Norfolk County residents, but also our partnership with Braintree is one that we use as a model for successful municipal relationships throughout the county. The work we've done together is a boon to Braintree, to our agency, and to everyone who lives in Norfolk County. So tonight I'm grateful to show you the fruits of this partnership that we've developed, as well as how we can work together to do the work we do both inside the House of Correction and in our communities we serve to benefit the residents both of Braintree and all the towns in Norfolk County. So I like to start with the fun stuff, and it really is a gem for our organization, and I hope that you find it to be a gem for the town of Braintree, and that's the Braintree Public Safety Complex. We're very proud of that facility that we have down the street here on Washington Street. The cornerstone of this engagement that we have is that public safety complex, the facility which houses our community outreach programs and our training programs has allowed us not just to serve Braintree, but all of the residents across Norfolk County. It is there where we have, for more than 20 years, hosted the Sheriff's Youth Leadership Academy. Fortunately, we've had a great success over 20 years, and 15 to 20,000 children have gone through that program, learning about leadership and anti-bullying, confidence, teamwork, and it certainly has shown its fruits over the years. When we just had our 20th reunion last year and watched kids come back who are now adults who have passed through the program as counselors and have come back and were able to show us how valuable the program was to them. Because of the success we've had here in Braintree, we're expanding our camp to the town of Medway. I promised for those of us that have traveled around Norfolk County, whether on a campaign or for job-related activities, most of the Norfolk County stuff tends to come up towards the northern end of the district, in Quincy, Weymouth, Braintree, Milton. And I promised people when I ran that I would bring some of the services to the other parts of the county, which is only fair. And so why not bring the premier program that we run for our community programs, our youth leadership camp, to another part of the county. And last year we had a trial camp down in Franklin, which was sold out and very successful. And this year we have a partnership with the town of Medway. And so we're bringing that camp to the folks in another part of the county. This year in Braintree, we're actually opening up a new partnership with the South Shore Children's Chorus. As much as I was envious to watch these kids up here, who play sports, I never learned how to skate. I was never good at much things athletically. I tried everything, but generally was the last kid to get picked for the team. But when it came to singing and arts, I was picked pretty rapidly. So we've fostered a relationship with South Shore Children's Chorus for a new program for children that actually are more engaged in the arts. And we started a program called Find Your Voice. And it's based upon the leadership program that we teach at the Youth Leadership Camp and the Ropes course. But for those kids that might not be more athletically challenged, they're looking more for the artistic side of things. So we're looking forward to that launching this summer. So we're really happy with that. And that also gives us a chance to be good neighbors with our neighbors next door with the Cats Academy, which, by the way, I don't know if anybody's engaged with the Cats Academy at all. Fabulous, fabulous academic institution and a great resource for Braintree. It's a hidden gem over there as well. And we wouldn't be here where we are without the town of Braintree that's allowed us to develop this program over the years. In addition to our Youth Leadership Academy, our Braintree location allows us to provide a number of important social and informational programs to the Norfolk County residents, such as our popular Holiday Happenings celebration. great opportunity to bring residents together around the holidays. Our community movie nights, another thing, like I said, it's a resource here in Braintree that we want to make sure that the residents of Braintree have an opportunity to come together and celebrate, and certainly much, much more. We've had a lot of success, too, with the launch last year of our partnership with the Beer Garden. We had hundreds of residents come down and enjoy the campus and enjoy the festivities down at our campus down there. It was great. This past Saturday, we had our first summer safety fest, which is something I initiated at the Sheriff's Office, and we try to bring our programs out to the communities, and we wanted to highlight the Braintree campus. And with most of us doing the Pray to the Weather Gods dance on Saturday, luckily we were able to pull it off. And with the commitment of so many partners that we had in law enforcement and some of our vendors that came, we were able to get about 2 hours of good time in, and about 250 people were able to come and enjoy that particular day. With nice weather, we'd probably at least double that, I would imagine, in the future. But we're happy with those community partnerships we have, certainly with the town of Braintree, with the Braintree Chamber of Commerce. There are so many uses there. We want to open that up and make sure that the residents of Braintree and the surrounding towns know that it's a resource for them. If they ever are looking to reserve it, we're happy to partner up with any community organizations, civics groups, and anybody who wants information can go to our website at norfolksheriff.com about hosting an event at that location. And finally, the Braintree Public Safety Complex is home to our training facility, which allows us to continue providing the highest level training and orientation for our security staff and our student officers. Because of the training we're able to provide in Braintree, the House of Correction in Dedham continues to be ranked as one of the premier correctional facilities in both Massachusetts and the United States. I highlight the community partnerships that we do have, and I want to just highlight briefly our Public Safety Alliance is something I started, which basically brings together a partnership with the DA's office, the Norfolk County Treasurer's office, myself, as well as all of the local police chiefs, local fire chiefs, your health boards, your veterans agents, your councils on aging, and we've put together this conglomerate of people and going town by town to launch this Public Safety Alliance. This is my number one goal, is to make sure, is asking the question in every community that I go to, how safe do people feel in their community? And we want to make sure that that each community is coming back to us saying where the problems are. We certainly want everybody to feel safe, and I think the town of Braintree is in great shape that way. But we love to have making sure that the folks know that the sheriff has great partnerships with your local boards and agencies to make sure that those partnerships are thriving, and any problems that may arise, we're there to build up solutions. And there's so many opportunities that come from the nationwide studies that we can bring back here locally for your residents. We've also entered into a partnership with the Vanessa Marcotte Foundation, and Vanessa was a young woman who tragically lost her life, was assaulted and killed out in Worcester County. She was out jogging. She was visiting her mom and went out for a jog, and she never came home. So her family started the Vanessa Marcotte Foundation, which basically provides public safety and defense tactics for mostly women. And we've been able to launch that program. We launched it here in Braintree at our public safety complex. We sold out instantly. We've had 2 other sessions that have both been sold out. We have another session in Quincy coming up, and we have about 50, little more than 50 people on our waiting list, and that's not even without publicizing it. Our officers have been trained by the Marcotte Foundation and are now certified to go out and teach some of the defensive tactics training to the residents throughout Norfolk County. So we're happy that Braintree allowed us to launch it right here in the town, and we're hoping that the residents here feel much safer because of that. We offer our virtual reality training to local law enforcement. We purchased a system this past year called the Apex virtual reality training equipment, which we used to, it replaces the old-fashioned, virtual training we had down on our Braintree site, which was basically a big room that had like screens set up that you could project issues onto the screen and have officers respond accordingly. The Apex training is a virtual reality system which allows 2 officers to wear goggles and actually have a full simulation of various incidents, and there's hundreds of scenarios in that system that an officer, that a captain, usually a training officer, can actually put officers through. We use it with the corrections officers and our officers that are deputy sheriffs that go out in the community, but we also avail that of all the local communities as well, and we've had several local police chiefs take us up on that. We bring the training to the town. You don't have to come down to Braintree and do it. It's literally backpacks, load up, and then go out to the community. So that's something we're really proud of. Our Metro-LEC partnership, which is a partnership of all local law enforcement agencies regionally. Not every one town has the kind of utilities that are needed to respond to major incidents, whether it's been a barricaded suspect or a major incident, or as tragically the town of Braintree knows about the incidents down the plaza. You know, the resources are taxed on the local community, and therefore Metro-LEC comes in and makes sure that the resources are available for various towns. Sheriff's Office partners with Metro-LEC. We have a mobile command center that usually rolls out to any critical incident, and it is something that is vital for communications when an incident comes down. I launched a drone unit in the Sheriff's Office immediately, and we have 4 drone pilots, and those drone pilots are deployed consistently for missing persons as well as for barricaded suspects issue. And the issue comes with about the ability to save lives, and you don't have to go far from the town of Braintree to realize when officer lives are put in jeopardy. And certainly when you lost K-9 Kit a few years ago, we looked at that and we said that there could be opportunities for future incidents where a drone would have been much better to be able to send in and assess the situation, be able to find out where that individual was located in the wooded area, and be able to plan a little bit more accordingly rather than risk officers' lives or canine lives. So you learn from those tragic incidents, and we deploy and build upon those things to be successful in the future. So our partnership with Metro-LEC is extremely important. We do, at the end of the day, our number one job is the care and custody of justice-involved individuals, those people that have gone wayward in life, who have committed criminal activities, that are either waiting for trials to begin or have been sentenced to up to 2.5 years in the House of Correction. As of today, we have 324 residents at the Dedham House of Correction. And the worst thing that I see as I travel around the housing units every day is idle time. And I always hearken back to lessons that I learned as a child, and I remember my father and mother consistently saying, idle time makes for the devil's work. And so when I see folks that aren't actively engaged in programming, I feel bad, because those folks are not going to progress and are probably going to recidivate and come back through the doors of the Sheriff's Office consistently. So we make sure there is more than enough programming available for the men that are in our custody. We focus on education as a primary opportunity for these men to reform their lives. Most of these men come in with barely a high school education, if that. Very few skills, and that's what's led to their life of criminal behavior. So we focus on education primarily, get them GEDs. We also have a partnership with Northeastern University as well as Massasoit Community College to allow, as well as Quincy College, to get these folks at least into an associate degree program if they're eligible for that, so that they can at least start advancing their educational opportunities, both inside the House of Correction, but more importantly, after they leave our facility. Our agreement with these men is to make sure that we see them through to the final outcome, and that's getting their certificate or their degree. We want to make sure with workforce development, we identify where the work is needed. Certainly we are still living in a fairly thriving economy right now, despite some hiccups along the way. I think if you go around any retail place or anywhere, there's a lot of help wanted signs. So we look for where the jobs are, and then we train accordingly. So we offer numerous programs in the hospitality industry. We've partnered up with the New England Culinary Arts Program to bring culinary arts training. to teach men how to be prep cooks and how to work in a kitchen. We offer a Safe Serve program that these men can get certificates. We have hazmat programs that people can earn a certificate in that particular field. We also focus on a CDL program so that folks can get their CDL license in order to become truck drivers. It doesn't happen. If I have a couple of friends of mine who work in South Boston down at the docks or as longshoremen, and the one thing they say, the biggest reason why they can't unload a lot of the cargo ships coming into the port is because there's not enough truck drivers to actually drive in under the crane and take those goods out to the distribution centers. So truck drivers are absolutely necessary. Our highlighted program that we're launching in this fall, we've been screening potential folks to participate, is our partnership with the Carpenters Union. I must highlight my friends in labor who have done extraordinary in terms of their commitment to helping the individuals that are incarcerated and giving them opportunities on the outside. But our Carpenters Union really stepped up and put together a formal apprenticeship program that we're actually going to be sending our men down to their training facility, and they will actually be trained as apprentice carpenters. That program will happen while these individuals are incarcerated, and we'll see them through until they finish the program and eventually become members of the Carpenters Union. So we're hoping to replicate that program with other unions throughout the labor force, because for now at least, with that economy booming, there's a lot of construction jobs out there, and our friends in labor are more than happy to help out. And our reentry coordinators have identified, and this is absolutely astonishing because it's nice to know that there are employers out there in the community that are willing to give a second chance to incarcerated individuals or formerly incarcerated individuals. And we've identified over 350 employer-friendly, CORI-friendly employers who are willing to give a second chance to these men. So ideally, what we're trying to accomplish with all of this is to make sure, as I've said to this body as well as every other municipality that I go and speak to, the men who get arrested in the town of Braintree and live in the town of Braintree and come to my facility, I owe it to you as elected representatives of the people, as well as the people themselves, to deliver a better product than what I received in the first place. And I don't know if I'm going to have these guys for 30 days, 60 days, 2.5 years. But no matter what, on day one, we focus on making sure that we focus on their day one leaving the facility, so that when they come back and live amongst the town, in the town of Braintree, that they're better citizens for it. I'll skip ahead a little bit and talk about our own workforce. None of what we do in the sheriff's office, whether it's in the four walls of the jail or out in the communities, is able to be done without the people that work in my office, and the professionalism and excellence that I'm very proud to have. By next summer, every single staff member at the sheriff's office will be mental health first aid certified. And I continually push our staff to seek out opportunities for advancement, training, and self-improvement. Life learning is an absolute must if you're coming to work for me. You need to consistently improving yourself, and there's more than enough opportunities, whether you're in the finance department, whether you're in the security department, or whether you're out in community engagement. I bring staff all across the country to various trainings, conferences that I attend. And for those that have come with me, they know that there's a mandate to actually go to the sessions and learn something and bring something back to the agency. So one of the things that we're very proud of recently, the FBI LEADER training program, which is recognized as the third most important, third highest, basically police training in the nation. I have required all of my command staff, meaning all of my superintendent, deputy superintendents, captains, and lieutenants, to be FBI LEADER certified. And I just don't tell them to do that. I practice what I preach. I put myself through the program as well. And so I'm fortunate that I am also a recognized FBI Trilogy Award recipient. And I require, like I said, all my command staff to do that. We accomplished that most recently, and within the next couple of weeks, the president of the FBI LEADER program, who happens to be the chief of the Stoughton Police Department, Donna McNamara, is joining Undersecretary or Secretary of Public Safety, Undersecretary Peck, I believe it's the Undersecretary, is coming to the facility, which I'm very proud about because we have been awarded, which very few agencies get, but the FBI Trilogy Agency Award. And that's something that most agencies are not able to get. So we're very proud of what we're doing, investing in our own personal workforce to bring excellence in service to the people in Norfolk County. In conclusion, I just want to say thank you for this body's commitment. I've seen each and every one of you at various events. We're always here to help. I know that the springtime was very busy for us in terms of community cleanups that we did. I don't know how our staff does it because we're depleted in some of our work crews that we do have, but where we're asked to go, somehow we find a way to get there, whether it's a cemetery or town halls or doing what we have to do. And we currently have a work crew renovating, and please come by and check it out if you haven't already, what was known as the Physician's House down at the Braintree campus. So we're investing a lot of money to make that a real showpiece for the Sheriff's Office, but really a place for the town of Braintree to be proud of, that you can have events there and host dignitaries, and so we're really proud of that. But please take advantage of the things that the Sheriff's Office has to offer. Whatever we can do to help the town of Braintree, we're more than willing to do it. And I just want to recognize a couple of my staff that are here, because 9 times out of 10, if we're not communicating directly, it's going to be with one of the staff. So my Chief of Staff, Sam DeLayer, is here. Special Sheriff Chris Bell is in the house. And my resident Braintree guy, the director of what will soon to be known as, and this is a lot of pressure on Matt Sisk, but the director of what will be known as the Hope Center. I've enlisted his expertise in launching what will be a community resource center for the people of Norfolk County that need services, whether it's housing, workforce development, educational opportunities, anything that we can do to stop people from recidivating and coming back in the door, mental illness, sobriety. So Matt Sisk has a big task to do, so, and I've given him only 2 months in order to accomplish it, so good luck, Matt. So with that being said, I'd be happy to take any questions you might have or comments or ideas, and other than that, I appreciate your listening for me tonight.
Thank you so much, Sheriff McDermott. Thank you again for being with us. I had the pleasure of being down at the campus on Saturday just before the rain came.
Just missed you.
But great event, and I hope next year it will be sunny and you'll probably have, like you said, double the crowd there. So thank you for hosting that. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues on the council? I'll be happy to open up. Councilor Hume.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Sheriff, for being here, as always. Each time you come here, this has probably been the most new programs that you have announced to better the citizens, not only of Braintree, but of Norfolk County. So I commend you for that. Each time you were saying that, I kept saying, wow, wow. So it's great. The Youth Leadership Academy has always been a fabulous event. I know many Braintree residents, it sells out quickly, and it is one of my 3 children had the great opportunity of attending it, and they all loved it. It wasn't like any other camp. They did learn to work as a team and things like that. And the programs that you've grown, as you've mentioned, just for health services and getting people back in the workforce, it was something early on that I was like really impressive. So I appreciate all the work you've done. Like, you've done a lot since you've been in office and done so many things to just make this a better community. And being here in Braintree and extending the Youth Leadership Academy out to other parts of Norfolk County, I think we were spoiled because it was right here in Braintree, as Braintree residents, right, literally in our own backyard. And I know when word gets out to other communities about that, people will travel far for that. But I can't commend you enough for all that list of programs. I mean, it was long and lengthy, but I'm glad you came and gave all those updates because they're important. It's important for people to hear and know all these resources are available. And so great job to you and your team.
Thank you.
Appreciate
And I go back, I've been in government now, like I said, going back far too long, 30 years, and it's been a pleasure every day. I get up every day getting fired up to do something to benefit the residents that I represent. But I often say jokingly, too, every position I've had, I've tried to put myself out of business, whether it was 18 years as the Register of Probate for Norfolk County, basically saying that litigation ought not to be part of family law. It ought to be conciliation, mediation, getting things done. And we're successful at that over the course of a certain time. But as sheriff, I truly believe that incarceration is not necessarily the solution to some of society's ills. I think that when you engage people where they are, there's a lot of people that you can help without necessarily seeing incarceration. And I think we're going to be working towards that. And there's some people that need to be incarcerated that just unfortunately are violent offenders and things of that nature. But I think that when we engage in programming, and I'll tell you just a quick story if you wouldn't mind, because it happened here in Braintree just about 2 months ago. I was down at the Olympia Diner having breakfast by myself, just at the counter, no uniform or anything on. I was just hanging out there. And I was at the counter, and a gentleman came up, and he was with another older gentleman and with a young girl. And I just happened to see, he leaned over to me, he says, hey, you Sheriff McDermott? I said, yes, I am. Nice to meet you. I'm Mike something. He goes, I was at your place for about a year. He goes, I got mixed up in drugs, I got mixed up in doing some stupid things, and I didn't have my act together. He says, but I took advantage of some of the programs that you had, and you had a partnership with a painting company. He says, I was able to get a job when I get out, and because I was stably working, I was able to reconnect with my dad, who hadn't talked to me in 10 years, and I was able to get at least parenting time with my daughter. So I got introduced to his dad and his daughter, and he says, I just want to tell the sheriff's office thank you for everything they did. And those are the kind of things that get you up to go in the morning every day when you hear those stories. And so I always tell the incarcerated folk, and I was at a class today, I commended them. They were doing some workforce development, and I said, good luck with everything you're doing. I hope to see you while we're in here working. But I said, the next time I want to see you is out Christmas shopping for your kids.
Great story. Thank you, Sheriff. That was really excellent. And any other counselors? Counselor Maglio? Sorry, 1 minute.
Thank you. Very inspiring. I was recently at your facility. I was a member of Team Kindness Givers for the Relay for Life.
There we go.
And as I went around and around and around and around for the relay, I was struck by the physical space. I was struck by the amount of staff that were there on hand to support the walkers. I was struck by the welcoming vibe of the facility, and to hear you talk about the really important things that are taking place behind the scenes and in front of the scenes in other communities is really powerful. And there are a couple of things, the finding your voice, and how safe do people feel in their community, that I would love to follow up with you on outside of this meeting and set up some conversations and learn a little bit more about how members in my community, my district, can benefit from some of those great opportunities.
It's old-fashioned stuff, and I can appreciate that, especially our district counselors. No disrespect to the at-large counselors at all, but having served as a district counselor, I remember organizing neighborhood watch groups, or if there was a series of car break-ins or graffiti, or all those little, well, they're not little, none of those crimes are little crimes, but they're annoyances in a community, and they can cause fear. If there's a break-in in a community, those are the things that spike up every now and then. We want to know when that's going on and how we can help provide resources to the town.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Maglio. Counselor Reynolds, and then I'll go to Counselor Ringos.
Thank you. Sheriff, thank you very much. That was a great presentation, and thank you for your leadership and your team's ability to deliver on these proactive services. It's the initiatives, I think they clearly benefit the residents and the communities of the county. I won't go over what some of the previous speakers have spoke about, but I concur with exactly what they say.
Thank you.
And it's, your performance, again, recognition, statewide, national levels, congratulations on that, on a job well done for your teams. I would be very interested if you had anything to do with any kind of veteran groups, any kind of initiatives that you have.
Big partnership with our veterans, and certainly we have some incarcerated veterans that we're working with, and a lot of post-traumatic stress issues, mental health issues. So we work engaged inside the facility. We're looking now to partner up with our Veterans Service Agents, which we've had as part of our Public Safety Alliance, to look for mentors in the community, especially when these men get back out. to pair them up with somebody, a veteran is just, I've heard numerous success stories about, it's one thing to get a mentor that's in the community, in the business community, but if you have a veteran working with a veteran, it can only enhance and help out. So we're working on those partnerships as well to do some workforce development stuff and mentoring. But I think that our veterans group, we're hoping to partner up with them as well when we launch our Reserve Deputy Sheriff's Association. I love our veterans out there. When we are looking to do our Reserve Deputy Corps, which is going to be our volunteer corps, the Sheriff's Office, I'm hoping to have our veterans directly involved in that. So, and we're also partnering. We sponsor the Veterans Fair that has happened the last couple of summers up at Pageant Field in Quincy, and I'm frequently also on the I forget the name of the show, but it's on WATD and WMEX for veterans. So we're always getting inquiries from veterans to get involved, get engaged, and certainly for those that are incarcerated or those that are going down the wrong path, we want to be there. Hopefully, once again, once we get our Hope Center up and running, I think that there'll be a definite component in there for veteran services, that veterans in need of services that we can help provide for them.
I'd be very happy to get together with you after.
Please.
Some other time to talk about how the state may be able to work with you, particularly the Executive Office of Veteran Services.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. Councilor Ringus?
Sheriff McDermott, thank you for the updates tonight. As many people have said, obviously the amount of services that you offer, it really is stunning. I was lucky enough as a first-year ADA to work out of the probate and family court, and I saw the work that you put in as Register of Probate to make that courthouse, as you said, less about litigation and more about conciliation and mediation. And it wasn't until later in my career when I left the safety of Norfolk County and experienced other family courts to see just how effective the work you put in at the probate court was. It's great to see, again, the amount of programming that you're offering. I think, obviously, the ropes course has been a phenomenal sort of partnership with Braintree for a couple decades now. Both of my daughters have been able to go through that, and I think it's great to see that, you know, we're now focusing on something a little less, for those less maybe athletically inclined, but just as talented in another area with your this partnership with the choir. So I guess I'm just not going to belabor it tonight, but thank you for the work you've done, and thank you for your partnership with the town of Braintree.
Thank you, Councilor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you so much for joining us tonight,
Thank you very
Sheriff
much.
McDermott, and to your staff for joining as well and sticking it out with us. And we were delighted to have you to recognize
Anything
our
on the
students
controversy,
and
any controversial items I have to stick around for? No fights going on tonight,
I
right?
think we have a national grids here. No, you're good. Thank you very, very much.
All right, thank you, councilors. Appreciate it.
You're welcome anytime. All right, thank you. Thank you, councilors. Moving on, or back, I should say, to our approval of minutes, to approve the minutes for March 21st, 2023. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Clerk Semina, roll call, please, for the minutes.
Counselor Baraka?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Maglio?
I'm sorry.
Approval of minutes? Thank you.
Yes.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus?
Aye.
Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our old business this evening. The first 5 items on our agenda are all public hearings that all need to be continued to a future date because they are still making their way through the board or the council committee process. So for these items, we're going to vote to open them, and then we will vote to continue the public hearings without discussion. So the first 2, if there's no objections, I would offer that we take them together. Again, they'll be opened and continued to Tuesday, September 5th without discussion. Any objection to taking them together? Okay, the first is, do we have a motion to open the public hearing for Order 22012, Mayor Zoning Bylaw Text Amendment, Inclusionary Housing and Associated Revisions, or take up any action relative thereto? Motion, the second is 23004, Braintree Property Associates Limited Partnership, SSP 131 Lakeside LLC, SSP 135 Lakeside LLC, Section 135-612, zoning map and zoning ordinance text amendment, creation of a PUD district, residence on granite or take up any action relative thereto, we have a motion to continue these, or to open the public hearings for those two?
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Baraka.
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty.
Aye.
Counselor Hume.
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio.
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien.
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds.
Aye.
Counselor Ringus.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. And now do we have a motion to continue 22012 and 23004 to September 5th, 2023 at 7:30 PM?
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Baraka.
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty.
Aye.
Counselor Hume.
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio.
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien.
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds.
Aye.
Counselor Ringus.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to the next 3 items on tonight's agenda are also public hearings that need to be opened and continued without discussion, and I would offer that these 3 orders be taken together. They are all still with the Planning Board and will be continued to August 1st, 2023 at 7:30 PM. Any objections? All right, in that case, I will read the motions and then ask if we have a motion to open the public hearing. The first is 23041, Braintree Planning Board, Proposed Zoning Bylaw Text Amendment, Section 135-102, Definitions, Production Studio / Brewery with Tap Room / Brewery Production, or take up any action relative thereto. 23042, Braintree Planning Board, Proposed Zoning Bylaw Text Amendment, Section 135-601, Table of Principal Uses, or take up any action relative thereto. 23043, Braintree Planning Board, Proposed Zoning Bylaw Text Amendment, Section 135-806, Schedule of Off-Street Parking Requirement, or take up any action related thereto. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call, please.
Counselor Baraka.
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty.
Aye.
Counselor Hume.
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio.
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien.
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds.
Aye.
Counselor Ringus.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. And now do we have a motion to continue the public hearing for orders 23041, 23042, 23043 to August 1st, 2023 at 7:30 PM?
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call, please.
Counselor Baraka.
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty.
Aye.
Counselor Hume.
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio.
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien.
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds.
Aye.
Counselor Ringus.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on. 23038, Mayor, reappointment of Frank Collins to the Weymouth Braintree Regional Recreation Conservation District, or take up any action relative thereto. I will turn to Chairman Reynolds of the Ways and Means Committee for their recommendation on this reappointment.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Ways and Means met on June 6th and voted unanimously for favorable recommendation to the full council on Order 23038.
Thank you very much, Councilor Reynolds. Is there anyone from the mayor's staff who would like to speak on this reappointment? Nope. Okay, anyone from the council? Councilor Flaherty?
So I was on the Committee of Ways and Means, and we reviewed this reappointment. And I also had the pleasure of joining with Frank Collins at Pond Meadow Park recently for an invasive plant removal day. And we gathered a full truckload of garlic mustard and multiflora rose. We had a lot of people helping. It is my impression that Mr. Collins really deeply cares about Pond Meadow Park, and I think that's exactly the kind of person we need in this position, and that is why I support his appointment today, reappointment.
Thank you very much, Councilor Flaherty. Anyone else, council? I will just also offer my thanks. These board and commission positions are volunteer, and it's really what helps our town run smoothly day in and day out. So thank you, Mr. Collins, for stepping up to serve, and I will certainly be supporting this nomination tonight, or reappointment this evening. All right, with that, is there a motion for Order 23038?
A motion upon the request of His Honor, the Mayor, the Town of Braintree, through the Braintree Town Council, in accordance with Sections 3-3 of the Charter of the Town of Braintree, to approve the reappointment of Frank Collins to the Weymouth Braintree Regional Conservation District. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call, please.
Counselor Baraka?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus?
Aye.
Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Collins, for your service. Okay, 23040, National Grid Petition 5-54 Liberty Street, or take up any action relative thereto. Councilor Ryan, I will ask you, as the chair of the Committee on Department of Public Works, for your recommendation.
Thank you, Madam President. Earlier this evening, the Committee on the Department of Public Works met and voted unanimously to recommend favorable action to the full council for Order 23040.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the mayor's office who wishes to speak on this tonight? Okay, National Grid, would you like to say anything? Okay. Anyone from the council? All right, in that case, thank you for being here with us, Mary, tonight from National Grid. Is there a motion for Order 23040?
Yes, Madam President. The motion is to relay approximately 650 feet of 4-inch bare steel gas main that was installed in 1930 and approximately 10 feet of 4-inch plastic gas main that was installed in 2008, with approximately 660 feet of 6-inch plastic gas pipe in Liberty Street from Union Street to Thistle Street, with staff recommendations. Beld has no conflicts with this location. The DPW has reviewed the subject petition and the accompanying plan for the gas main replacement on Liberty Street. The work is being proposed to eliminate aging gas infrastructure. This section of Liberty Street is not subject to the excavation moratorium, having been resurfaced by total reconstruction in 2008. It should be noted that approximately 150 feet of the work will occur on a landscaped area which was created when the alignment of Liberty Street was adjusted at the intersection of Union Commercial Street. The pavement on Liberty Street is in fair condition, and the DPW is currently planning on placing a micro-surface treatment on the section of roadway in 2024. As such, the DPW recommends the following conditions be met if the subject petition is granted. A temporary asphalt patch be placed immediately following the work in all paved areas. Screed excavation should be saw cut, backfilled, and compacted in 8-inch lifts, paved to match existing asphalt depth with a minimum depth of 4 inches and 2-inch lifts to match the existing street grades. After maintaining the temporary patch through 1 winter, the patch will be placed the following spring. The permanent patch should be 8 foot wide and overlaid with a pavement depth of 1.5 inches. Backcoat should be applied to mill surfaces and prior to paving. Fixed joints should be treated with rubberized asphalt. No trees. This is on the landscaped area. No trees shall be removed from the work unless absolutely necessary to the gas pipe line as determined by the town. All disturbed landscape and grass will be replaced in kind following work to the satisfaction of the DPW. Grass areas shall be cultivated and maintained until growth is established. National Grid and Scott shall arrange a pre-construction meeting with the DPW and engineering division personnel prior to the start of the work to review the proposed corridor of work. And they also have the standard language, you can't shut down the streets. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Baraka?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
No.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus?
Aye.
Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
7 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 23044, Mayor, amendment to General Ordinances, Chapter 10.10, truck restrictions or take up any action relative thereto. This is a public hearing. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing for Order 23044?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, sorry.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call to open the public hearing.
Counselor Baraka.
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty.
Aye.
Counselor Hume.
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio.
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien.
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds.
Aye.
Counselor Ringus.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. With that, I will refer to Councilor Ringus, Chairman of the Committee on Ordinance and Rules, for their recommendation on Order 23044.
Thank you, President Baraka. The Committee on Ordinance and Rules met earlier this evening. We voted unanimously for a favorable recommendation to the full council on Order 23044.
Thank you very much, Councilor Ringus. Is there anyone from the Mayor's office who wishes to speak on this? DPW Director Jim Arsenault is here this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, Director Arsenault.
Thank you for having me up here. So,
Did
thank
you have anything you wanted to state on the proposed ordinance?
No, just an overview, I guess. So the truck exclusion basically is we had a truck exclusion recently, and then we're just adding it to an ordinance to make sure that it's enforceable because of it needs a regulation or ordinance in order to activate it. So we just wanted to make sure that that gets handled so that we can implement the truck exclusion. So.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, is there anyone from the council who wishes to speak on this? Councilor Maglio?
Okay, unless you want to go first. Yeah, okay. Can I have my, So I just have a couple of questions about this. There are some existing commercial vehicle truck exclusions in District 3, in East Braintree, and the result of those is that these heavy trucks that are restricted from main streets end up taking side streets, which are even more densely congested, and where there are children, like for the school days 8 to 9:30 and 2 to 3:30, it's great that they're being rerouted away from Ross School, for example, but then they end up taking those side streets. And all of those children, since Ross is a walking school, all of those children are actually in all of those streets with their families walking. So that would be an example of how the streets that are getting these restrictions, how is the rerouting of that traffic being handled? There wasn't a map that went with this, and so where are trucks being, for all of the streets, where are they being rerouted to?
Yeah, the only exclusion or truck restriction is really where Five Corners is. So what happens is they're coming along, coming to the Five Corners and then going to the highway, and they cut through,
Is that like Addison?
Yeah, Addison and Burton, all those are the only ones that were added from this. All the other truck restrictions were existing. They've been here for a long, long time, before my time. And so, but the state, when they wanted to, so what really happened was the old ordinances from the previous form of government, when they came over to the new form of government, they, some of the ordinances didn't come forward to the new form of government, so that particular ordinance wasn't incorporated. And so the restrictions were still there. They were still, approved through the past administration. But now that we have added a few streets, there's 3 streets at the Five Corners there, those particular streets have to have an ordinance to them, and so the state said you have to incorporate all of the existing as well as the proposed. So it's only the new streets that are by Five Corners that are being added to this, so.
Okay, that's helpful. So I guess I would still wonder then, and I don't know if that's part of this or just a background of the work that would go with it, is how do we ensure that the heavy traffic isn't being rerouted, which there's these restrictions on Hayward and Quincy and Commercial. How do we ensure that they're not going down side streets?
So on this particular street, so at this particular street, there's a main road right there that goes, to the plaza and all that stuff, so through the Five Corners. So that there really is the only thing you're doing is putting trucks on side roads. So what they're doing is all those roads are secondary roads. They really shouldn't have trucks through them, but what's happening is they're backing up on West Street, and they're trying to sneak through the subdivision and go around through the subdivision. Because what happens is the trucks have abilities to try to get through faster, and so they have online programs that tell them how to expedite their process, and they'll cut through the subdivision. And it's really a cut through a subdivision. It's not a main road that they're no longer using and it's impacting something else. It's actually cutting through a subdivision and getting it through to go to the plaza area. So because it's getting so congested there, it has been moderated a little bit recently with all the change in peak hours and stuff like that, but there still is some cut-through traffic there, and we were able to prove that through data that we sent to the state, and the state did agree with us that, given the type of streets and the roadways that are there, it's not really appropriate that they be cutting through there, and so they agreed with us, and they approved the restrictions for those secondary roads, so. So basically, it's, there is no viable second area to bring them. So that's really, and that's where they always usually went.
So this is to stay on the main road?
Yes, stay on the main road.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then where there are restrictions, I got you. So that's sort of the opposite on this. So I guess my question is still, where there are restrictions, how do we, where is information on where they're supposed to be routed to? So
sorry.
On this list.
Yeah, so it's just the 3 roads that are by the Five Corners that were approved. The rest, they're existing. So if you wanted to relook at some of those, because you had concerns about them, that's something we could send to the task committee and have them look at if you'd like, so.
Okay, so that actually did go to the task committee twice.
Yes.
And
for this particular roads, the 3 roads that were in question.
For some of the ones on top.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just wondering, how do I, so maybe this isn't directly related to this ordinance then, is what I'm getting the feeling of, but seeing these all listed and grouped together is kind of throwing me off, because we do have restrictions. We do have heavy oil tankers that are filling up with gas and oil up and down Quincy Ave, going through residential neighborhoods. And when the restrictions that are written here, when these restrictions are in place, they go through even smaller side streets. So what would be the correct way to address that? That would have more, that would be part of something like this with the state?
Counselor, if I may, and Director, I think if I might try to distill that a little bit, maybe part of the question is, how can counselors and/or residents petition, if that's the right word, to have their roadways looked at for truck restrictions? What's the best avenue?
Could I take that?
Counselor Ringus and Counselor Ryan.
Director Arsenault can correct me if I'm wrong at any point, and I could be. So this one, actually, when it came before ordinance rules, I was initially a little confused because I knew that if we look at Schedule A, for example, that all of these streets already existed. So I was a little confused on what we were voting on. So in essence, when we converted over from our old form of government under the selectman form of government to our mayoral form of government, there were certain bylaws that didn't always convert over to ordinances. Some of them had to be specifically voted from the bylaw standing into an ordinance standing. So when we approached Mass DOT this time around about adding Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road as truck restricted areas, DOT came back and said this needs to be codified under your new form of government as an ordinance. And so tonight what we voted on was chapter 10.1 or 10.1010, heavy commercial vehicles excluded. We've taken the old bylaw language and we've now converted it to an ordinance. So the ordinance now defines what a heavy commercial vehicle is. In this .2 section, it says what those restrictions are, and those are which I'll touch on in a second. Those are noted in Schedule A. And then it notes the exemptions. And the exemptions, which we talked about in ordinance and rules tonight, would be it exempts, for example, with Addison Street being added, it exempts Addison Street being used as a cut-through. But let's say someone was building a new home and the destination was the lot on Addison Street. Obviously, a truck delivering goods would not be exempted from using the road. It's to stop what you're talking about. It's to stop cut-throughs. So when you look to Schedule A, there's not that many streets that are actually truck restricted in Braintree. It's Hayward Street, which I know Councillor Hume is very familiar with because I think she was one of the folks that initially got this put forward. Elm Street, Common Street, West Street, Central Ave, French Ave, which I used to live on and I know is a cut through, Cameo Road, Kendall Ave, Liberty Street, and then we are adding tonight Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road. So again, when the state DOT gave us the ability to add Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road, they said it just had to be statutorily defined now as an ordinance. As many people know, Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road, they're up in the Granite Park area off of sort of Five Corners. I pled guilty tonight in ordinance and rules. I use Addison Street as a cut through all the time. It's not going to exempt me, right, Jim? I can still cut through.
You don't have unless you have a truck.
Not in the truck.
I'll keep it small. It is going to exempt big trucks who want to avoid that sort of pile up sometimes that occurs in Five Corners from sort of taking and cutting through the Granite Park area and then out to towards the mall. So with that said, we talked about a little bit, I think what you're asking in the meeting tonight, if we wanted other roads to be looked at, what is the best forum for doing so? And I believe Councilor Flaherty was a big part of Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road getting added to this list, as she is the District 1 councilor. So in essence, if there was roads in East Braintree or in any area of town that we wanted to try to add to this list, you could reach out to either to your district councilor, to the mayor's office, who could refer this to Mr. Arsenault and DPW for referral to the task committee to see what we could do about getting it added. Director Arsenault noted at the meeting tonight, and we can see just from the small amount of streets that exist here, that there's a study that has to be done of how many trucks actually use it, what the impact those trucks have on the roads are. So it's actually a very arduous process and very difficult to get the state to sort of approve it, but there is a process in place. I believe that the Hayward Street one that you're referring to, that was initially, I believe, because we had Ross School, which is known as a walking school. We were trying to limit it. That's why that one, when it historically was added between 8 and 9:30 and 2 to 3:30, it was added in those time periods because they didn't want the trucks going by Ross School when the kids were walking. Obviously, what you're saying is now the trucks do cut through the neighborhoods, so I think what would happen is yourself or a resident could then refer it to and see what kind of action could be taken to further restrict it. But I hope that helps.
Thank you, Councilor Ringus. Councilor Ryan? Councilor Flaherty?
What I would add to that, just for the sake of clarity, is that the town cannot unilaterally declare any street to exclude commercial truck traffic. That power lies with the state. So the process for this is that the DPW gets a request from a resident to have their street evaluated, and then the DPW supplies the state with a great deal of data that's gathered regarding the amount of traffic and the kind of traffic that traverses the area. But part of that is that they must be able to demonstrate that a more appropriate route for the trucks there's a more appropriate route for the trucks to use. In the case of Addison, Burton, and Davis, the appropriate route is to go down west and then to make the turn at 5 Corners and then go down Granite or wherever you're going. But then that is, I think, reasonably much more appropriate for commercial truck traffic to use than to cut through the Granite Park neighborhood. But if the town cannot sufficiently demonstrate that to the state, then the request would be denied. And so I think that partially gets at what you're talking about. But that's for you to judge.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Flaherty. That helped answer my question. One moment, anyone else? Councilor Hume?
To address the Hayward Street, so when this truck ban was first put in years ago, I talked about it in the Ordinance and Rules Subcommittee. It was new at the time, so truckers didn't know, especially Citgo Terminal, so a lot of the businesses were told about it, and they informed their drivers, and it was the eyes and ears of residents, of neighbors. When the ban's in effect, they can't come down Hayward Street. They're supposed to be going down Union Street. So if they're cutting through the neighborhoods, if residents know whose trucks they are, they should either report it to the mayor's office, to the police, or even call the vendors themselves and say, hey, there is a truck ban, like, don't do this. But I would suggest gather that information and submit it to the mayor's office and police department for enforcement, because that was what was done in the past. And then police would be stationed if there were certain hours, certain days, when it first was implemented, and over the couple years, they would sit there and track them and tag them, and a friendly reminder and tickets at times too.
Yep. Thank you, Councilors. Councilor Maglio, did you have a second?
So yes, so we did do the data. The data research was done. It happened once before I was counselor. It happened a second time while I was counselor. I think you're familiar with it going through, Director Arsenault, through it going through the task process twice, which has resulted in some painted lines, please go slow. So the traffic is there, the concern is there, the data is there, it's already been gathered. I think the other piece of it is what you mentioned about the, when they fill up at Citgo, they're actually supposed to go down through, they're supposed to take their big giant tanker trucks and go down through the landing and then come back up and then take Commercial and take Union. They don't. They go straight down Hayward first. Second, when it is during school, they go onto the side streets. That's why there's also signs only on one side. It's not on the other. It depends on which way you're traveling as to whether those commercial restrictions are even visible to you. So the other piece is the request was made to send letters to the businesses so that they can let their drivers know. So all of these things have been requested, have been documented, are well known, but yet I don't think, and I'm just being polite, I know that they haven't happened. So that's where I need help with another step. And when I look at this, I think maybe there's some opportunity, since the work has been done already, to shed some light on what residents have already raised so many times.
Thank you, Councilor Maglio. And just as a reminder, the discussion for tonight, because it is a public hearing, we need to limit to Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road. However, that's valuable information, and I would just ask that if there is things outside of these 3 roads, we should take them up at a future agenda or with the mayor's office and task force, but very helpful understanding the appropriate route, and that is one of the things that hopefully our traffic enforcement will. Chief of Staff LaForest, go right ahead.
Madam President, if I may, also earlier in the committee meeting, we talked about the enforcement and the communications to these neighboring roads as this new restriction comes online. So with we want to express our sincere gratitude for the advocacy of Councilor Flaherty. We, from the Mayor's Office, in DPW, will be sending a letter to the residents, to Councilor Hume's point about alerting them that we need them to be some eyes and ears. Also, the new traffic division coming online effective this fiscal year, we will be asking to do some enforcement, knowing it's going to take some time for that rules, but we've all had the, map apps on our phones and diverting you through neighborhoods. This is to prevent those cut-throughs, and so keeping the traffic on the mains. Councilor Maglio, to your point, I'm glad to follow up with you if there's some communication we need to be doing relative to your district. We're glad to do that as well. I think it does provide that opportunity for a refresh as to what the rules are, but understanding the disregard in general as the driving public is out using their maps and they're doing as they're restricted, maybe not paying as intense time, but maybe we can do some additional enforcement in the areas that you're discussing.
Great, thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Chief of Staff. Any other comments from councilors? I do want to acknowledge, I know Councilor Flaherty has been working hard on this for several years, and a lot of these things take a long time to accomplish. So having an advocate for this neighborhood with persistence to see it through, I know it's going to make a big difference in the quality of life for those residents in the Granite Park neighborhood. So I will definitely be supporting this effort this evening. Thank you, Councilor Flaherty, for all of the legwork you've done on this over the last couple of years. Councilor Ryan?
Yes, I just want to echo those comments that thank Councilor Flaherty for all the work she's done on this, and it's Granite Park has a lot of issues being right next to the South Shore Plaza with traffic and things that that occur next to the plaza, and it's a wonderful neighborhood, and I'm going to fully support this, and thank you, Councilor Flaherty, for shepherding this through the process.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time, I would like to open it up if there's any member of the general public who wants to speak on Order 23044. And as a reminder, this should be pertaining to commercial vehicles on Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Bill Needham, through the chair to the DPW director. You're telling me Peach Street isn't on that list?
Mr. Needham, tonight we're focused on Addison Street, Burton Road, and Davis Road, and the full list does not include Peach Street tonight.
Okay, that's fine. Well, let's get something straightened out. I've appeared before this board for years when they were talking about South Street, that Peach Street has traffic that starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. Clean Harbors is on Peach Street. DPW, if you check the federal rules, gasoline and hazardous waste does not belong on residential streets. I see Super Petroleum, I see Clean Harbors. I won't say Clean Harbors comes up every day. And if you check when East Braintree took on Clean Harbors years ago when they're going to put the incinerator in, Clean Harbors was instructed if they were going to continue operating down there, anything going in and out of Clean Harbors was to come down on the expressway, wherever, go down Route 3, get off at Route 18, and the traffic was to go down Main Street to Washington Street to Quincy Avenue to the plant. That's allowed Clean Harbors to operate. I don't think it's enforced when I see them on Peach Street. My day starts at 4:30 in the morning with either Graham, Troop, or other contractors. I don't even recognize their trucks coming down Peach Street with their dumpsters going someplace. It's either Avon, I don't believe Holbrook is open. They're not going to Braintree to dump. They come down, and at Kimball, there's a little asphalt, and it's like a speed bump. So when they come down, it's a good crash, but when they go back a half hour, 35 minutes later, it's quite a bang. I'm surprised I don't call up to complain. I figured, I went to the mayor was supposed to straighten this out as soon as South Junior High was built. I sat over here in shock when I hear Granite Park were upset. I understand West Street, but now we're going to get into asphalt, Edwards, Landers, it's all Peach Street. And I understand Peach Street was going to be reconstructed. They reconstructed, they better reconstruct it.
Mr. Needham, tonight we have to focus on Addison Street,
well,
Burton Road.
this is just
and
information for
I
you people.
understand, and we can
because-
take Peach Street up at a different day when it's on the
Okay,
agenda.
fine. And not to the board, but I was told that same thing probably 8 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Needham. Thank you for joining us tonight. Is there any other member of the public who would wish to speak? Okay, seeing none. Do we have a motion to close the public hearing on order 23044?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote to close the public hearing.
Counselor Barrica?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Yes.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus?
Aye.
Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much, Clerk Semino. And now, is there a motion for order 23044?
Yes, motion to create municipal code 10.10, heavy commercial vehicles excluded. So moved.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote.
Counselor Barrica?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus?
Aye.
Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, moving on to 23045, Mayor, intermunicipal agreement extension, South Shore Recycling Cooperative, or take up any action relative thereto. I will again refer to Councilor Ryan, Chair of the Committee on the Department of Public Works.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on the Department of Public Works met earlier this evening and voted unanimously for favorable recommendation to the full council on Order 23045.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to welcome and recognize Jeff Kuntz, our recycling director. Mr. Kuntz, would you like to say a few words?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. Through your office and the rest of the council, the request that we have is to continue the relationship that we evolved about 3 years ago with the South Shore Recycling Cooperative, which is a group of communities, which is currently numbering 18, that deal with day-to-day, minute-to-minute kinds of issues within the DPW departments. Everything from hazardous waste to the issues around the closing of landfills, the issues of regulations, both state and national. A good part of what our director does is lobbying in Boston on behalf of things like the bottle bill, producer responsibility. And an example I used in the committee earlier would be the mattress program. In their wisdom, DEP decided that they were going to ban mattresses. Again, part of that is to save the limited space in landfills, but then the burden falls on the communities or the individuals. In our case, the mayor decided the community would do it. It added about $100,000 in cost, part of which we had to find savings in other areas, but it did increase the budget requirements for the trash recycling area. We work to find a way to have the producers and the people that sell mattresses assume some of the financial responsibility, which would then be pooled, and that money would come back to the communities to help pay for the disposal. That's the kind of program, the kind of lobbying, the kind of initiatives that this coalition works with. Another good example would be household hazardous waste. Every community has had 1 or 2 events. They all have to be organized separately. There was finally a consortium bid that went out. Because of our relationship with Clean Harbors, we didn't take advantage of that. But what we were able to take advantage of is to create access for our residents to be able to use the hazardous waste days in other communities. And that's the kind of program that we've been able to put together in this coalition. I serve on the board of directors of the South Shore Recycling co-op, and I'd look favorably to your support for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coons. Is there any questions from the council? Did you have, Councilor Hume? I have one question, Mr. Coons. I know I'd sent in some questions earlier about one of the potential benefits of joining the collaborative, and I'm delighted that we are proposing to re-up this, but was about the potential to save some money as a member, and the response I had, there was no specific savings, nor did we feel there would be until the current staffing turnovers in the department. Could you just elaborate on what that means?
One of the difficulties in managing the programs that are controlled outside of the town, particularly through DEP or EPA, is that someone needs to be on top of all the regulations and ordinances to be able to negotiate into them and negotiate once they're put in place. I've been fortunate to have the support of some staff, all part-time employees that work with me, but there's an issue not too far off since my entire staff are in their 70s that we're going to have obviously some turnover. It'll be a reduction of hours at their request initially, but someone is going to have to fill that gap. And one of the things that the South Shore Recycling Cooperative does administratively is to take over some of the issues like grant writing. We do an excellent job internally today, but 6 months or a year from now, we won't have that opportunity. So I felt that taking advantage of joining it before we needed to be able to influence some of the work that they're doing made more sense for the town of Braintree.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much. And I will just add, I don't know that it was mentioned tonight, but it's a fairly nominal fee to rejoin the collaborative, and that is all being covered by grant funding, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's not there will be no budgetary request for this, but rather just a request to join the collaborative again. So thank you.
That's a request. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here. All right. Is there a motion?
Madam President, motion authorizing Mayor Charles C. Kokoris to extend the inter-municipal agreement for cooperative recycling on the South Shore, which provides for membership in the South Shore Recycling Collaborative. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please. Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin is absent. Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus?
Aye.
Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, moving on to new business, which is 03623, Council President, request for Town Council to sponsor zoning ordinance text amendment or take up any action relative thereto. No action is being requested on this evening. Rather, this is just informational for my colleagues on the council. This is the final component of the tree protection ordinance. So the first part we voted on unanimously to apply to public trees on the public way. Part 2 was agreed to at our June 6th meeting, also unanimously. That was the creation of a revolving fund to eventually fund tree replacements. This is the third part, and this part is to ensure that developers who are cutting trees or clearing land for new projects will also be accountable to preserve, replace, or pay for the removal of any trees. So this component was at the recommendation of the planning director and the town solicitor. They felt incorporating this into a zoning text amendment as part of the site plan review process would accomplish that goal in the most sort of expeditious and clear fashion. So the steps involved are at the July 18th meeting, be requesting a favorable vote to simply sponsor the amendment to the planning board. We would then submit it to the planning board, and it would then go through sort of the paces that we are accustomed to. The planning board would make its recommendation. It would then go back to ordinance and rules. Ordinance and rules would make its recommendation, and then it would come again to the full council for a public hearing before we did a final vote. So again, this is just sort of informational because this is certainly different than something I've done before and wanted to just bring it before you tonight. So that's it. Councilor Ryan.
I want to make a motion. Is that appropriate?
It would have to be, on this, it would have to be same night action.
I'm going to make a motion to make same, unless somebody has a, doesn't want me to make a same night motion.
Councilor Maglio?
So we would be discussing this or just voting to sponsor this on July 18th?
So and Clerk Semino, correct me if I'm wrong, if Councilor Ryan is proposing a same night action, what we could vote on tonight is it's a vote to sponsor the amendment. That's it. And then it will come back to us to debate and discuss sort of per our usual process.
And same night action would be not waiting to do that
On
till
the 18th, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve that the Braintree
Hold
Town...
on, just a minute. Let's just ask if anyone objects to same night action. Does anyone object? Councilor O'Brien, do you object to same night action on this item?
I object because the item as written is very vague.
Can you repeat that?
So we have an objection to same night
Okay.
action. So we'll continue to July 18th with this item.
Okay. All right. Any one member objects to same night action, we will move it to July 18th. All right. With that, is there a motion to move all measures under new business to their respective committees?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote.
Councilor Verica?
Yes.
Councilor Flaherty?
Yes.
Councilor Hume?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin is absent. Councilor Maglio?
Aye.
Councilor O'Brien?
Aye.
Councilor Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilor Ringus?
Aye.
Councilor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. I'd like to say thank you, as always, to our BCAM team for televising the council meetings and bringing it to the residents of Braintree. Bill Needham, Jerry Comack, thank you for sticking with us tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk Semino, roll call to adjourn, please.
Councilor Verica?
Yes.
Councilor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilor Hume?
Aye.
Councilor Maglio?
Aye.
Councilor O'Brien?
Aye.
Councilor Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilor Ringus?
Aye.
Councilor Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.